The Lord declares, "On the 15th of September, I will reset your destiny and nothing can stop it." Chosen one, listen carefully. What you are about to hear is not just a word of encouragement. It is a decree from heaven, a verdict already sealed in the sacred scrolls of eternity. The 15th of September is not an ordinary Monday. It is the divine crossroads of destiny, the moment heaven has appointed to break every chain of delay, to shatter every lingering cycle of failure, and to restart the true destiny that has always been written over your life. For years you have walked through corridors of doubt, wandered among the ashes of dreams you thought were long dead, and endured seasons when it felt as though heaven had erased your name. But God has not forgotten you for even a single moment. He has been silently gathering every tear you shed, every hidden cry from the depths of your soul, every wound you carefully disguised behind a smile. And now he thunders from his throne. The waiting is over. The old cycle ends here. On the 15th of September, false labels will crumble, limitations will be stripped away, and doors that were once locked will swing open wide. What once opposed you will now be redirected to serve you. Heaven has marked this day as a divine ignition point, the spark that lifts you out of the shadows and propels you into the radiant season you once only dared to dream of. This is not a time to watch from the sidelines or shrink back in hesitation. This is the moment to rise, lift your head high, and step boldly into the destiny prepared for you before the foundation of the world. The 15th of September is the reset point of the chosen. Comment with the number 777 below. That number 777 is a sacred sign of divine completion, a prophetic declaration that you are ready to leave behind every cycle of delay and step boldly into the reset God has appointed for you on the 15th of September. If you are truly a chosen one, your spirit already knows this word is for you, and you will stay until the end because heaven is speaking directly to your soul. The 15th of September is not just a date on the calendar, it is a divinely orchestrated turning point, carefully marked on heaven's timeline, long before you ever knew the battles you would face. Everything you have walked through, every detour, every heartbreak, every moment of silence, when you thought God was absent, all of it has been part of a hidden preparation. Nothing has been wasted. Nothing was random. Heaven has been aligning circumstances in ways you could not see, building a foundation beneath your feet even when it felt like you were standing on shifting ground. What once appeared as a delay was not a denial. It was a divine strategy. God was not withholding blessings from you. He was fortifying you to carry them without breaking under their weight. You see, destiny is not granted to the unprepared. It is entrusted to those who have been tested, refined, and proven faithful in the unseen. The crushing seasons you endured were not signs of heaven's rejection, but proof of heaven's investment. Every sleepless night, every tear that soaked your pillow, every time you had to keep walking with nothing but faith in your hands, they were not the end of your story. They were the chisels shaping the vessel that could now hold the glory about to be poured out. And now, the appointed hour has come. The 15th of September is the moment when the blueprint of your life begins to align with the heartbeat of heaven. This is the day when the old narrative expires, when your identity as the one who almost made it is erased, and the identity heaven has always seen in you, victorious, chosen, unstoppable, takes the stage. The atmosphere will shift. Opportunities will surface that seem almost too perfectly timed to be a coincidence. Because they are not. Doors will open that were sealed for years, because heaven itself will swing them wide. This is not a random breakthrough, it is prophetic precision. The author of your life has declared this date as the moment when preparation ends and fulfillment begins. So stand firm. This is your appointed time. The 15th of September is the day heaven steps into your timeline and declares, "Now, La, chosen one, the greatest breakthrough heaven is releasing on the 15th of September, is not something you can touch with your hands, it is something that will ignite within your spirit. Long before your circumstances shift, Your identity must awaken. This is the core of what heaven is doing now, a sacred inner reset, a dismantling of the false self that was shaped by fear, shame, and disappointment, and the resurrection of the truest version of who you were always meant to be. For too long you have carried the weight of voices that told you you were not enough. You were trained to survive instead of to reign. You built walls around your heart, not because you were weak, but because you were trying to protect what little strength you thought you had left. And yet, even in those hidden seasons, heaven was whispering over you, "This is not who you are. This is not the end of your story." Every moment you felt invisible. Every time you were overlooked, misunderstood, or dismissed, none of it defined you. They only revealed how misaligned the world's perception was with heaven's vision of you. Now, that misalignment is being broken. On the 15th of September, the lies lose their power. Fear loses its grip. The confusion that clouded your path is lifting, and clarity is dawning like the first light of morning. You will begin to see yourself as heaven has always seen you: radiant, resilient, redeemed. And once you see it, you will walk differently. You will speak differently. You will no longer shrink to fit places you've outgrown. You will no longer beg for rooms that were never built to hold you. The inner shift is the key that unlocks every external door, because destiny only bows to those who have claimed their identity. Understand this. External transformation without internal awakening is temporary, but when your spirit comes into alignment, change becomes unstoppable. This is why the shaking had to come first, to strip away everything false, so what is true could finally rise. Heaven is not simply giving you new opportunities. Heaven is giving you back yourself, the version of you who carries fire in their bones, who moves with divine authority, who remembers why they were sent here. This is your awakening. The world is about to meet who you truly are, and nothing will ever be the same again. Chosen one, once your spirit awakens, something extraordinary begins to happen around you. The resistance starts to break, and the flow begins. This is what heaven has orchestrated for the 15th of September. A shift from striving to alignment, from forcing open doors to watching them swing wide in perfect timing. What once felt like an uphill battle will suddenly begin to move with a grace that can only be explained as divine. This is not a coincidence. This is what happens when your inner world syncs with heaven's rhythm. The atmosphere around you starts to obey that same rhythm. For so long, you have been pushing, striving, exhausting yourself, trying to make things happen. You carried plans, dreams, and deadlines like weights on your shoulders, trying to outrun the silence, trying to prove that you were worthy of the very calling you were created for. But divine destiny is never built by force. It unfolds through flow. The reason the doors stayed shut before was not because you were unworthy. It was because it was not yet time. But now, heaven has declared the time has come. The waiting has done its work. The preparation has done its work. The moment has matured, and the season has shifted. You will begin to notice it. Conversations aligning, opportunities appearing without you chasing them, people showing up at the exact moment you need them. This is the mark of divine flow, when the puzzle pieces stop resisting and start clicking into place. It will feel almost effortless, yet it is the fruit of every hidden battle you've fought. What used to be exhausting will become exhilarating. The very things that drained you before will now energize you, because you are no longer working against the current. You are moving with the current of heaven. Understand this clearly. Divine flow does not mean passivity. It means precision. It means you act when heaven moves, and you rest when heaven says rest. It is the posture of faith that trusts timing as much as it trusts promise. On the 15th of September, the striving ends, and the alignment begins. The ground beneath your feet will stop resisting you and start carrying you. You are stepping into divine flow, the sacred rhythm where destiny accelerates, doors open, and everything begins to move as if heaven itself is clearing the path before you. Chosen one, as you step into divine flow, something even deeper will begin to unfold: clarity. not the vague, fleeting kind that flickers for a moment and disappears, but the kind that pierces through the fog and rearranges everything. The 15th of September will not only mark a season of movement, it will mark the moment when the scattered pieces of your life begin to fall into divine order. The chaos that once seemed endless will start revealing its hidden design, and what once felt meaningless will suddenly make sense. For too long, you have walked forward through confusion, doing your best to stay faithful even when you could not see where the path was leading. You questioned yourself, questioned your calling, even questioned if God was still listening. But heaven was never silent, it was strategic. The delays were not punishment, they were alignment. The silence was not absence, it was protection. God was shielding you from doors that would have destroyed you and holding back opportunities that would have crushed you had they arrived too soon. Now, that season of obscurity is lifting, and with it comes the gift of vision. This clarity will not only show you where to go, it will reveal what to leave behind. Because when heaven brings order, it always begins by removing what does not belong. People who once seemed essential may quietly drift away. Paths you once fought for may lose their appeal. Do not resist this pruning. It is proof that heaven is building something that will last. Order cannot come without separation. And clarity will give you the courage to release what no longer carries your future. You will begin to see connections between events that once seemed random. The setbacks that broke your heart will be revealed as strategic detours that saved your purpose. Every disappointment will be reframed as preparation. It will be as if a veil has been torn from your eyes, and for the first time, you will recognize the hidden architecture of grace that has been holding your life together all along. Chosen one, this is what happens when heaven brings your life into divine order. Confusion gives way to confidence, chaos gives way to peace, and wandering gives way to direction. On the 15th of September, the fog lifts, the map appears, and you will walk forward not as someone guessing but as someone guided. Chosen one, understand this with trembling reverence. Everything heaven is unleashing in this new season depends on one thing: that you finally rise and stand in your true identity. This is not a suggestion. This is a mandate. The gates of abundance, purpose, and favor will not open to someone who still calls themselves broken, forgotten, or unworthy. They will open only to the one who dares to say, with unwavering conviction, I am chosen, I am sent, I am ready. For too long you have lived under false names, names born from wounds, labels given to you by people who never saw the fire God placed in you. They called you too much, or not enough. They made you feel like your presence was a burden, like your voice was inconvenient, like your dreams were delusions, and piece by piece, you shrank yourself to fit their comfort. But heaven never called you to fit. Heaven called you to reign. That is why the battle over your identity has been so fierce, because the enemy knows if you ever see yourself as heaven sees you, you will become unstoppable. On the 15th of September, heaven is issuing a divine summons. Stand up, take back your name. You are not who pain said you are. You are not who rejection painted you to be. You are not a mistake that somehow survived. You are a mandate wrapped in flesh. You carry the breath of God in your lungs and the seal of eternity on your spirit. Every trial that tried to bury you was actually preparing the ground for your roots to go deeper, so that when you rise now, you will rise unshakable. This restoration will not come quietly. It will roar through your spirit like a war cry. You will feel heaven's fire reawakening the authority you laid down just to survive. And when you speak, chains will break not only off of you, but off of those watching your resurrection. Because this moment is not just about your healing, it is about your coronation. The world is about to see who you truly are. Not abandoned, not overlooked, not average, but chosen, crowned, and unstoppable. Stand tall, chosen one. Heaven is watching. Hell is trembling. And your true name is rising. Chosen one. Now that your true identity has been restored, Heaven will not wait long to confirm it. On the 15th of September, you will begin to see glimpses of what has been prepared for you all along, subtle yet undeniable flashes of the blessings that have been waiting behind the veil. These will not be random coincidences or fleeting moments of luck. They will be prophetic previews, divine signals that the atmosphere around your life has shifted and that the season of scarcity has ended. You must understand this. Heaven never reveals the full inheritance all at once. It shows you glimpses first, not to tease you, but to train your vision to recognize abundance. After years of lack, your eyes have been conditioned to expect disappointment. You've learned to brace for loss, to celebrate cautiously, to question every good thing as if it might collapse in your hands. But heaven is breaking that cycle now. These glimpses will retrain your heart to expect goodness again. They will be heaven's way of saying, "See, I have not forgotten you. This is only the beginning." At first, they may seem small, an unexpected word of encouragement, a door cracking open that was sealed shut for years, an opportunity that finds you without striving. But do not dismiss them. Treat them as sacred. Because they are not small at all, they are the early rains that announce a coming downpour. Each glimpse is a seed of the future, proof that what you carried in faith is about to manifest in sight. What you see in part now, you will soon hold in fullness. And as these glimpses begin to appear, your spirit will recognize them. You will feel something stirred deep within you, not anxiety, but awe. It will be like watching the horizon brighten before the sun breaks through. It is not the full light yet, but it is proof that the darkness is over. These early signs are heaven's way of marking your path, so that when the flood of blessings comes, you will know it did not come by chance. It came because heaven kept every promise it whispered to you in the silence. Be warned, not everyone will see what you see. Others may dismiss these moments as nothing, but you will know. Because these glimpses will carry the fragrance of heaven, unmistakable, undeniable, unexplainable, and they will grow. What starts as whispers will become waves. What begins as hints will become a harvest. Chosen one, do not rush this. Do not demand the whole story yet. Celebrate the previews, because they are the keys that unlock your faith for what is coming next. The glimpses are not the end, they are the announcement. Your season of abundance is about to begin. Chosen one, as the glimpses begin to appear, heaven will not stop there, it will send you confirmations. Not loud, dramatic signs that the world can see, but quiet, strategic signals from the throne, designed for your eyes only. These subtle confirmations are heaven's secret language with the chosen. They may appear small to others, but to your spirit, they will resonate like thunder. They will whisper, "You are on the right path. Keep moving." You see, heaven rarely shouts when it speaks to its warriors. It whispers because it knows only those who are truly aligned will recognize the whisper. Anyone can notice miracles when they explode in public, but only the chosen notice the holy patterns hidden in the ordinary, the perfectly timed word from a stranger, the unexpected message that answers a prayer you never spoke aloud, the door that opens without you knocking. These are not coincidences. These are heaven's nods, subtle yet undeniable markers that your steps are being ordered. At first, you may doubt them. You will be tempted to call them imagination, to rationalize them away. But pause, breathe, discern. Because the enemy will try to convince you they are meaningless, hoping you will ignore the very signs that are meant to strengthen your faith. Do not let cynicism steal what heaven is revealing. When your spirit senses the echo of God's fingerprint on something, trust it. You are not being naive, you are being attentive. Faith always hears what logic overlooks. These confirmations will also carry another purpose. They will rebuild your confidence in hearing God's voice. After long seasons of silence, you may have started to question if you can still recognize His leading. These quiet signs are heaven's way of answering that question. Every time you notice one, your spiritual hearing will sharpen. You will begin to walk with a deeper assurance that you are not wandering, you are being guided. And know this, subtle does not mean weak. These confirmations are not small, they are surgical. They arrive with precision, striking directly at the fears that once controlled you. A single phrase overheard in passing may break the grip of doubt. A single moment of divine timing may undo years of delay. This is how heaven fights for its chosen, not always with noise, but always with power. Chosen one, pay attention. Keep your eyes open, your spirit alert. The path is being marked for you. Each subtle confirmation is heaven placing its signature on your journey, saying, "Yes, this is the way. Keep going." These are not accidents. They are evidence that the God who called you is now walking with you. Chosen one, as the confirmations accumulate, something even greater will begin to surround you, divine favor. This is not mere luck. It is not coincidence. It is the supernatural approval of heaven resting upon your life, bending circumstances in your direction, commanding doors to open for you that remain locked to everyone else. Divine favor is when heaven itself steps into the room ahead of you and whispers, "Make way, this one is mine." You must understand how sacred this island favor cannot be bought, earned, or manipulated. It is not given because you were perfect. It is released because you stayed faithful when no one was watching. It is heaven's reward for endurance, the crown placed upon those who refuse to bow to despair. While others see only the surface, heaven sees the trenches you crawled through, the silent battles you fought, the tears you buried so deep no one knew you were bleeding. And because you endured, heaven is clothing you now with a radiance that cannot be explained, only recognized. This favor will not be subtle, it will be undeniable. People will not understand why they are drawn to help you, why they want to invest in you, why your name suddenly carries weight in rooms you have never stepped into before. It will not be because of titles or credentials, it will be because heaven's signature is upon you. What once felt like resistance will become acceleration. Where you once knocked and heard silence, you will now simply walk and watch the doors swing open. This is what divine favor does. It removes the struggle from what God has already decided is yours. But hear this clearly, favor is not for comfort, it is for assignment. Heaven is not elevating you to make you comfortable. Heaven is elevating you to make you visible, because your life will now serve as a signpost of what God can do with someone who refused to give up. The spotlight will not be about you, it will be about His faithfulness through you. That is why favor must rest upon you now, because your story is not just personal, it is prophetic. Chosen one, walk in this with humility, but without hesitation. Do not shrink when the favor shows up. Do not apologize when doors open. You have paid the hidden price, now carry the visible mantle. This is the hour when heaven marks you openly for what it has long marked you privately. Divine favor is not coming, it has arrived. And from this point on, nothing about your life will ever be ordinary again. Chosen one, as divine favor begins to rest upon you, heaven will immediately do something crucial. It will anchor you, because favor without stability becomes a snare. Acceleration without foundation becomes collapse. And heaven has not brought you this far to watch you rise fast and fall hard. That is why this new season will not just bring open doors, it will bring unshakable stability, the kind that secures your soul while everything around you shifts. For years, you lived in survival mode. You moved from crisis to crisis, never sure if the ground beneath you would hold. Every step felt like risk, every day like a gamble. You built while trembling, prayed while bleeding, smiled while breaking, and yet you endured. That endurance was not wasted. It became the bedrock heaven is now building upon. But make no mistake, this next move of God is not about frantic motion. It is about rootedness. Stability does not mean stillness, it means spiritual anchoring. It is when your peace is no longer determined by circumstances, when your faith no longer shatters under pressure, when your identity is so deeply rooted in who God says you are that storms can rage around you, and yet you remain unshaken. This is what heaven is constructing within you now, a foundation that cannot be toppled, not by criticism, not by delay, not by spiritual warfare. Because what heaven is about to entrust to you will require shoulders strong enough to carry weight without crumbling. And understand this: stability is not just emotional, it is strategic. Heaven will begin to reorder your routines, realign your relationships, and restructure your priorities. Distractions will fall away. Chaos will be replaced with divine discipline. You will wake up with clarity, move with precision, and walk with consistency. Where there was fragmentation, there will be focus. Where there was noise, there will be stillness. Where there was fear, there will be resolve. This stability is the scaffolding that will sustain everything heaven is about to build through you. Do not resist this grounding season. It may feel quiet, even uneventful, after the intensity of warfare you've survived. But this is not the absence of movement, this is the laying of pillars. Heaven is digging deep now so that when the elevation comes, it will not destroy you. Chosen one, you are not being slowed down, you are being secured. And when God secures something, it becomes immovable. Let him anchor you, because what is coming next will be too heavy for shallow roots. Stability is not a delay. It is proof that heaven plans for you to last. Chosen one, once stability has taken root, heaven will release what you have been waiting for all along: momentum. Not the frantic, exhausting rush you once knew, but a divinely fueled acceleration that carries you forward with power, precision, and grace. This is the moment when your steps will no longer feel forced. They will feel carried. The very ground that once resisted you will now begin to propel you. Momentum is the proof that heaven has shifted the atmosphere in your favor. It is the divine wind that turns effort into ease, sowing into harvest, faith into sight. And this is what the 15th of September marks, the turning point when motion becomes multiplication. In the past, every step cost you everything. You pushed like someone dragging chains, working twice as hard to move half as far. But the chains are gone now, the resistance has broken, and what once took years will begin to unfold in months, even weeks. Do not mistake this momentum for mere speed. It is strategic acceleration. It will not make you reckless, it will make you unstoppable. Doors will open in rapid succession. Conversations will lead to breakthroughs. What you start will find completion instead of collapse. And as you move, heaven will move with you, aligning timing, people, and provision in ways you could never orchestrate on your own. You will feel as though you've stepped onto a current you cannot see, yet everything within you will know, this is what I was built for. But be warned, momentum is not the time to grow careless. When the pace increases, so must your focus. Stay anchored to the disciplines heaven gave you in the quiet season, because those disciplines are the rails that will keep you on track. Without them, momentum becomes chaos. But with them, momentum becomes destiny fulfilled at supernatural speed. Heaven is not rushing you. It is redeeming the time you thought you lost. Every delay you grieved is about to be overturned by acceleration. This is why the enemy fought you hardest right before this moment, because he knew once you gained momentum, he could not stop you. He could wound you when you were still, but he cannot catch you now. You are moving too fast, too focused, too empowered. Heaven's wind is at your back, and your future is pulling you forward with a force stronger than fear. Chosen one, this is the season where you will accomplish in a year what once seemed impossible in a decade. The gates are open. The current is rising. Momentum has been released, and nothing can halt what God has set in motion. Chosen one, as momentum begins to surge beneath your feet, heaven will bring you to the part of this journey that may be the most emotional of all vindication. This is the moment when the one who saw everything you endured will make it known that you were never forsaken and that your faith was never in vain. This is not about ego, it is not about revenge. It is about divine justice, heaven publicly honoring what you built in secret while everyone else doubted, dismissed, or discredited you. You walked through years of being misunderstood. People questioned your motives, minimized your vision, and mocked the dreams that God Himself planted in your spirit. They pointed